Hello everyone, jumping right into it, I am building the Wanderer's house with no mods. A lot of you asked for it, so here it is. Just laying down the foundation first and also building the little porch area. Now if you guys didn't see this in the first one, I like the porch to be a little bit lower than the actual house, and that's what I'm doing here. I snap out some shack foundation just to make sure that everything's even and it's a little bit easier to judge how low you're bringing it. And there is a reason why I like having the porch a little lower, but I'll go over that in a little bit. So right here, I'm just going to place down this wall and use it as a placeholder for whenever I put up the awning for the porch, which is later on in the video. You know, I'm totally ADD when it comes to building, and I didn't realize that until I started doing these videos, because it's very hard to commentate over. It's like, well, yeah, you know, I'm kind of building it now, but I'm just going to stop and build the rest of the house, and then come back and finish the first part. But anyways, this video is going to be fairly quick because we're building the exact same structure as I did in my first Wanderer house video. So I'm going to make one or two changes, one being I'm going to add in a fireplace in the living room, but really other than that, I'm going to keep this as close to my first video as possible, and the reason why is because I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to have mods to build these kind of structures. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but if I build something with mods, I try to make it easy to where you can translate it into a strictly vanilla build. Like for example, my boxcar trailer park video, I used boxcars and capsules from the Snap and Build mod. So if you don't use mods, then build the whole settlement with just boxcars. Basically, I try to make my builds to where anyone can replicate them. Okay, I should probably talk about what I'm building. So I'm using the barn pieces. You can use barn, warehouse, or concrete. I used concrete in my upgraded house video, so if you guys want to see what that looks like, I'll have a link to it at the end. It's essentially the same build, just on a smaller scale. I am going to switch back to the wood foundation. I'm just using the barn floor right now because the walls snap in any direction, just like so. It makes it a little bit easier of putting these walls up. And again, I'm using the exact same layout as before, so nothing has changed there. I'm going to speed up this next part because it's just me placing in walls and changing the floor out. You're going to see me use some small walls that look a little broken, but I do add to them later. Okay, on to the fireplace. I like to use the concrete pieces because they seem a little more suited to handle a fire. And this is pretty simple, just place down a small floor, then snap half walls around it and stack them up. You can have the outer wall sticking out a little bit, but I like to push mine in just to make it look a little cleaner. Alright, so I want to close off the inside but still leave room for the actual fire. For those of you who have seen my upgraded house video, I do a different and much easier technique here because we have scaffolding pieces. First, I place down a small shack floor in order to snap a scaffolding floor to it, then we snap a ladder to the floor and another floor to the top of the ladder. Basically, we're just snapping our way into the fireplace. Doing it this way saves a lot of time and makes sure that everything is even without having to manually do it, because that can be a nightmare. Now we are set up to add in the inside wall. With this one, we have to bring the outer walls up to the higher floor piece in order to have the inside wall flush. You don't want this one sticking out. It needs to be flush with the barn walls that we have off to the side, like so. Now we can bring the outer walls back down and then snap in the top part. And look at it. Beautiful. Okay, we need to fix the smaller barn walls as I mentioned before, which is actually pretty easy. We're just going to rug glitch them in. So if we're fixing the left wall, we want to use the right wall and vice versa. Notice how the wall pops on top of the sand. I'll show you that again in just a second, but you want to make sure that the wall is sitting on top of the ground and not inside it. That way, the bottom of the wall and the rug are even. Now we just select all by highlighting the rug and holding the action button, which is A on the Xbox, and then we can glitch this in. It's pretty forgiving and it's not going to be exactly perfect, but once you decorate it and everything, you really won't see that this wall was glitched in. Almost. There we go. See, it looks pretty good. I'm just going to do the rest of them, but before I do, I just want to show you what I was talking about a second ago. When you pick up a wall and slowly bring it down, you will see it kind of snaps on top of the ground like that, you see? It does that before it starts sinking into the ground, so just watch out for that. It will help keep everything even. But for now, I'm just going to speed this part up and I'll be right back. Okay, and this part is pretty simple too. I'm just adding in the ceiling. So I want the ceiling to be lower than the barn walls. You notice that the barn and warehouse pieces are taller than the other ones. I feel like it's a little bit homier with the ceiling being a little bit lower, so I'm just using the concrete pieces to be able to snap wood floors and use them as ceilings. Again, it's a pretty simple part, so I'm just going to speed it up and be back in a moment. Alright, I'm just kind of breezing through the upstairs because it's pretty straightforward. I'm adding in the walls first, that way I can snap in the wood floors to them. There's going to be a space between the ceiling and the floor, which is fine. I actually think it looks pretty cool. But really, we aren't losing any space compared to the last build because the barn walls are just taller. So I'm just going to finish putting in the floors and the roof, and yeah, I'll be back. Okay, we are back to the front of the house and are going to finish the porch. I left this wall here so I can snap the roof to it and it not be too low because remember we lowered the porch. And right here I realized that the shack foundation was not in the middle of the house, so a good way around that is to snap a small shack floor and then snap the shack foundation to that. And it's even. There we go. So since I messed up there, I have to lower the porch again, but with the magic of editing, it is done in 2 seconds. So I'm snapping the roof to the wall now. That was the sole purpose of having the wall there, to make sure that the roof was even and at the right height. And here's the reason why I like to have the porch a little lower. These posts fit in perfectly and clip through the roof without any problems. They don't stick out as high and they look more natural. So if the porch was even with the house, the posts wouldn't allow me to place them down with the roof, and if I was able to get it to work, they would still be sticking out a little too far above it. Alright, just adding in the railings to finish up this part, and next we are essentially doing the exact same thing in the back. So that's pretty much it for me. While that's going, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching this far into the video. This past week and a half has been awesome for my channel. I mentioned it a little bit in my last video, but my activity is still shooting up, and I just want to say how grateful I am and appreciate all of your support, your feedback, and suggestions. Like, that's my favorite part, hearing what you guys have to say. Like, I read every single comment and respond to as many as I can. You guys leave me some of the best comments, man, and I want this to be a very interactive channel, so I take your feedback and suggestions to heart, whether it's some parts are too fast or my music is shitty, whatever it is, I take into consideration. Also, I'm going to start doing a viewer request series where I build something that someone suggested and give them credit for the idea. Like, I'm really excited to do different series like that, but I'll talk more about it in my next channel update video, which should be out pretty soon. But for now, I just wanted to say thank you all again. Please let me know what you think of this video in the comments. You can also follow me on Twitter. This is just another way of chatting. My next video is a surprise for you guys and should be out in the next few days. But please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and take care.